Now, refugees fleeing war in their country are mostly heading to Europe in search of a better life. But they're seemingly doomed to suffer wherever they go, as a picture of Europe they've depicted in their minds appears to be much more different in reality.
The European Union's Criminal Intelligence Agency announced that at least 10,000 unaccompanied child refugees have gone missing after arriving in Europe. Some 5,000 children have disappeared in Italy alone. Europol said it has received evidence that some unaccompanied child refugees have been sexually exploited. However, some of the children are not lucky enough to reach Europe. On Saturday, nearly 40 people drowned after their boat sank in the Aegean Sea while trying to reach Greece from Turkey. Turkish Coast Guards detected 10 bodies of children among the dead, while some of them were babies about 1 or 2 years old. But those people who managed to reach their destination safely will have to face the increasing anti-refugee sentiment that has been growing significantly in the past year, following the influx of asylum seekers into European countries. These people are anti-refugee protesters demanding the European Union change its policy towards asylum seekers. The demonstrators in the Austrian city of Villach carried anti-EU banners while chanting slogans against the 28-member bloc and the Austrian government. Right-wing politicians held speeches and criticized Austrian Chancellor Werner Feymann's stance on the issue. The situation did not differ much in Sweden. Protesters poured onto the streets to voice their anger over the influx of refugees in an event organized by the far-right Democrats Party. The Swedish capital, Stockholm, has been even a more horrifying place for refugees. On Friday, a mob of masked men dressed in black went on a rampage on the streets, singling out and attacking refugees. The group distributed leaflets threatening to give the asylum seekers, quote, the punishment they deserve. Elsewhere in the British city of Dover, clashes erupted between opponents and supporters of refugees. The police, who were stuck in the middle of the fight, made several arrests from both sides. The anti-refugee protesters rallied after calls by far-right groups, including the Southeast Alliance, the National Front, and the Northwest Infidels. But as anti-refugee sentiment is growing across Europe, the German Chancellor has defended her open-door policy towards asylum seekers.
It is incomprehensible to me that a European Union with 500 million inhabitants cannot take in, for example, 1 million Syrians, whereas a country with 5 million inhabitants like Lebanon is managing it. That does not give a good impression of our continent. We speak about our values every day, but we are not prepared to do our part. And Syria is not on the other side of the equator. It is very close to the European Union.
Merkel, however, said despite efforts to integrate the refugees and help them, it's important to stress that they've only been given permission to stay for a limited period of time. She argued that asylum seekers from Syria and Iraq will go back home once the conflicts there end. The German Chancellor has so far remained adamant to the plan of accepting refugees, but political analysts believe preserving the stance on the open-door policy could cost Merkel her position.